Alright, let's do this one more time. Dun. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for stopping by. Welcome to the channel. My name is Louis Baton. Did succeed to get in the stream up on my phone beforehand, so hey. 1 second. Should have done this before. We cannot have chapped lips on this stream. No, this is a soft lip stream. There we go. Mwah. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. My name is Louis Baton. I'm an Australian lefty progressive streamer. Talks about all sorts of things. Workers' rights, environmentalism, feminism, men's rights and how that relates to feminism, masculinity, minority rights, trans and indigenous rights. Yeah, lots of fun stuff, okay? So, if that's the sort of thing that you think you might be interested in, then hey, hit that follow button, jump over to YouTube and subscribe to me there. I do prepared content over on my YouTube channel. I'm working on a massive video for the YouTube channel right now. It's going to be really sweet. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I don't release something until I'm happy with it. So even though this is quite an ambitious project, I know how I work. and I've been happy with everything else that I put out. So as long as I meet that same standard, then hey, no problem. So if that's something that you think you might be interested in... Oh, well, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the massive video I'm working on right now is going to be on masculinity. Because, hey, we need more people talking about it. There are some streamers who touch on the subject every so often. However, no one really centers it as a focal point of their channel, which is something that I'm interested in. I want to fill that niche. Hey, there's a niche that needs to be filled in the online sphere, and I aim to fill it. So you have plenty of people on the right talking about masculinity, about, hey, this is what men are, this is how men need to be. And most of that is kind of cringe. We'll take a look at some of it for today, because that's the topic of today. But yeah, if that's the kind of thing you might be interested in, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. So, let me open the stream properly by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land from which I'm coming to you live from, which would be the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I'd like to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Excuse me, and welcome any Indigenous people joining us in the audience today. So, oh, before we even, excuse me, sorry, another thing is that I've just woken up. Well, not just woken up. I get up at 6 a.m. It is now 7:38, so I'm getting into this new morning routine where I am getting up at 6 and then doing some exercise, coming home, making some breakfast and having a shower, and streaming, kind of like starting the stream at about 7:30 at the latest. I found that that's a really good habit so far. I'm the kind of person that... if I'm not in a routine, then I'm a bit all over the place. Once I get into a routine, though, then I can stick to it like glue. And so far, I've been sticking to this routine, and it's really been working out, which is fantastic, because I need that routine to function properly. But now that I'm starting to establish that routine, things are going pretty well. So that's grouse for the stream, because it means that I'll be streaming regularly, because it means I'll get up at 6, start the stream by 7:30, do whatever throughout the rest of the day, work on videos, pull stuff online for other streams, between, uni and whatnot, and then get ready to be streaming again for the Australians in the evening, because, hey, if you're an Australian, don't worry, I'm not going to leave you with your dick in your hand. I get up in the morning early, my time, to stream on American time, to try and get into that American audience, and then I also stream in the evening my time for the Australians. More of an Australian-centric stream. So hey, a lot of content, a lot of good stuff. Now, before we get to the content for today, I'd just like to wish everybody a happy 9/11. It is 12/11 right now, sorry, it is 12/9/9/12, September 12th. Right now in Australia. However, this is the American stream, so it is still 9/11 in America. I've already been seeing a ton of stuff online of people posting about 9/11. So I'm thinking that tonight's stream, I'm just going to pull a bunch of stuff about 9/11, look at different people's reactions and talk about it. Talk about the jingoism and the nationalism and the opposition to power, all that. Oh, man. Let me take a sip. Perfect. All right. Now, before we look at any real content, let's have a look. Let's have a look at something. So, from Fahad Nazir, spokesperson for the Embassy of Saudi Arabia in Washington, D.C., on the 20th anniversary of the September 11 terrorist attacks against the United States, hashtag Saudi Arabia stands in solidarity with the American people and its leadership. Saudi Arabia and the United States have worked together for decades on multiple fronts to conquer Al-Qaeda and other is it Al-Qaeda or Al-Qaeda? I always get confused. And other terrorist groups. We will continue to fight side by side until the scourge of terrorism is vanquished, once and for all. And here's Ken Klippenstein's very appropriate response. We're all trying to find the guy who did this. As a reminder, the vast majority of the 9/11 terrorist attackers were not from Afghanistan. I think one was from Afghanistan. One or two? Because there was like 20-something odd attackers in total. Like, there was people on the planes, and there was people that stayed behind who were more of like the planning side of things. Neo-feminism is not for men. Well, my friends, stick around, and you'll see if that's true. And why would you specify neo-feminism? Like, look at past incarnations of feminism. Anyway, so the vast majority of the terrorist attackers, complete heel turn. The vast majority of the terrorist attackers were from Saudi Arabia, so, and plus the Saudi government was involved in aiding the terrorists in 9/11, so it's pretty funny to see Saudi Arabia, wringing their hands over 9/11. It's about neo-feminism. I was fine with women standing, I assume, standing up about being beaten up, down to death. What? Mate, please, do a proofread before hitting enter. Anyway, let us... Let's see, should I... Some women were killed before. Feminism was good for this. Sure. Now they just show hate for men. I mean, so what? Even if that was true, which it's not, who cares? Let's look at some examples of why feminism might be for men as well. So, I thought of who's the most miserable man I know. Who is the man who just has the most utter contempt for life, happiness, and his fellow human beings? And I arrived on the answer, well, that of course would be Matt Walsh, who's 34, however, has the cadence? No, that's not the right word. He's 34, but you never know it. He acts like he's 60 years old. So, I thought, well, if I'm going to talk about feminism and why it might be for men, I have to talk about Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh has had some pretty cold takes when it comes to how men need to act. Matt Walsh has stated previously, for instance, that it is not masculine for men to dream, that basically men shouldn't dream. It's somehow feminine to dream. Matt Walsh has also stated that no man or boy over the age of 12, I think, should celebrate their birthday. I think he's also said that it's not masculine to give or receive hugs, which, far out, man. He's starting to see why people like this might need a touch of feminism. I can't imagine a world without hugs. Listen, I've been in lockdown for the last 2.5 months. I live alone. I could really use a damn hug right now. So, I had to look through his YouTube channel. There's nothing super recent that's about men. Well, there was a video, actually, which was interesting, which was called... I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically about how less men are going to universities now, and he sounded like that was a good thing, but it was 46 minutes long, so I was like, I'm going to pull that whole thing. So instead, we're going to hear what he has to say about dating advice, and we're going to see... excuse me, what the double standard is that he applies between men and women. I think I can already guess which way the wind's blowing, but, I'm going to give him his fair shake. Damn, feminists are disgusting. My friend, that's so rude. How could you say that about me? Alright. Now, listen, no more from the peanut gallery, alright? We're watching the video.
Well, there is no show today. That's the bad news. The bosses were upset that I've been complaining about the hotel accommodation so much, and so they've fired me. They said if I don't like the hotel, I can go back to being homeless in my car. No, that's not actually what happened at all. We just are traveling, and that's why we can't, unfortunately, do a show today. But the good news is that we still have some content to feed to you, my sweet babies. I would never let you starve from a lack of content. So we got something special, a little bit of relationship advice that I'll be doling out on a Friday. That's coming up in just a second. But I want to tell you that this video is brought to you...
Oh, no, no, no. When does the real video start? Is this all ad? Wait, what? How long is this ad? 2 minutes.
...is that will reverberate through our hearts for all time. So make sure you check for that on Monday.
Wow.
I'll be back on Tuesday. Godspeed, my sweet babies.
Oh, and an ad, and another ad. Not even like, okay, we're 2 minutes in. We haven't got to the actual video. He's given his ad, and now there's a YouTube ad. Wow. Okay, very cool. As a female, I think feminists are disgusting. Whenever someone refers to men and women as males and females, that just, oh, that really gets under my skin. That is so cringe. You're based. I'm afraid they're cringe. Of course, when it's about women, it's also about money. What does that even mean? I meant feminism. I'm wrong for saying women. Excuse my French. Far out. Boomer. Alright. Now that we're finally up to the video, let's see what he's got to say.
One thing I do sometimes on this channel is dispense relationship advice. It's been a little while since our last relationship advice segment, I think, and I know that couples across America and the world really are hanging in the balance, falling apart, unsure what to do without my guidance. And so I'm back to be that guiding light for you again as we return to the relationship advice forum on Reddit to settle these disputes, answer questions, repair broken bonds. Let's check.
Now, I'm not, I really don't go on Reddit at all, but I've heard that our relationship advice is a bit of a meme.
Get out. We'll start with this question here. Says, my girlfriend of 2 years just revealed to me that she might want to try a one-off every so often in our otherwise monogamous relationship in which we would message the other person that we're taking a night off, meaning taking someone else home and having sex with them that night.
Matt Walsh, who has in his Twitter bio, theocratic fascist. I wonder what he's going to say about this.
So we're going to have sex with other people, but otherwise we're going to be monogamous.
I don't think it means what you think it means.
You know, I'm a vegetarian other than the 3 or 4 times a day that I eat meat. It's kind of a similar thing.
I mean, it's not untrue. It just sounds like, that they're having, like, they're still in a relationship, but they just casually see other people if they want. Or at least that's what she's proposing. Matt Walsh, take it away. What's your advice?
For context, we're talking about sexual preferences, and it sort of struck me out of nowhere because she's so far led me to believe she's a pretty possessive and sometimes jealous girlfriend who doesn't like to share her significant other. It came as a little bit of a shock because I definitely wouldn't be okay with it, and she knows that I prefer monogamy in long-term relationships. We tried talking out a little in which I stated my case, but I'm just kind of worried that she might want that in the distant future if we get engaged and eventually married like we've talked about in the past. Any advice is welcome. Well...
Okay, I already know what Matt Walsh's advice is going to be. He's going to say dump the bitch. So, here's my advice. Liberals love that. They have no morals. Well, mate, I'm not a liberal. I don't know who you're talking to. So, okay. When it comes to a relationship, community, you're not even, like, all kinds of relationships, every aspect of a relationship, not just romantic relationship. Communication is king. Now, you support LGBT, how can you not be lib? Mate, I'm something bigger than a liberal. When it comes to a relationship, communication is king. for this individual, I would have to say that it sounds like they've already talked to their partner about it, but if it's still on your mind, which it clearly is, because here you are posting to our relationship advice, then you should talk about it again. Clearly it's weighing on your mind, so the only way that it's going to be resolved is if you talk it out. And really, you have to understand, you have to make your partner understand that, hey, this is where I'm coming from, this is what I'm comfortable with, this is what I'm not comfortable with. Now, they may decide that, as this person originally thought, yes, I am okay with monogamy. But really, if they're not, if it's something that they definitely want and it's something that you're not comfortable with, then, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a libertarian, you should give them the freedom to act how they please. And if you're not a fan of being in a relationship with someone who sees other people casually, well then maybe it's not for you. I mean, again, I'm a libertarian, so, I mean, consenting adults can do what they wish. Now, on the other side, it's unfair for the other person to, I guess, expect them to be okay with something that they're not with, but then the same thing for the guy who's making the post. If monogamy isn't something that they want, well then, they're an adult, they can do what they like. That's a much more, ultimately, it boils down to talk it out. If you make it clear to them how you feel, if you're not, if they're not okay with where you're coming from, perhaps it's not going to work out. If they can be convinced, then okay. I already know what Matt Walsh's response is going to be. It's not going to be any nuance. It's going to be break up with them. Of course he is a liberal. They are all the same. They want to be unique. It's pathetic, really. Libertarianism is another level of madness. My friend, I don't think you know what libertarianism means. Imagine looking at somebody like me and seeing liberal.
Oh, you're not going to get engaged or married because what you're going to do is break up.
Bye, Felicia.
It took a whole of 2 seconds.
She's asking for permission to cheat. She's probably already cheating.
Permission to cheat. Well, no. Cheating is when you go behind somebody's back. It's not permission to cheat, alright? It's why they call it ethical non-monogamy, okay? It's because everyone's an adult, they're all consenting. It's not permission to cheat, you absolute child.
This is probably more of her seeking validation after the fact for what she's already done. But even if it isn't, she's telling you.
What? Matt, where did you... Come on, bro. Where did you read that from? There's a little bit of projection, come on.
I'm not interested in being committed to you, which means in what sense are you even in a relationship at all? That's an easy one. Just be done with her and break up. Glad we could settle that. All right.
Oh, it's okay. Like I said, no nuance, just break up with her.
Next, it says, I feel like I'm not allowed to have my own time. I've been dating my girlfriend for almost half a year now, and it's been mostly great other than her clinginess. She's the type to send multiple walls of text while I'm at work, and then when I give her a quick response trying to explain to her I'm busy, she thinks I'm upset at her, which in reality I am, and I've tried to explain to her that there's no need to blow my phone up when I'm on the clock at work or at school. I'm trying to explain to her I'm busy, and I've even set boundaries for her to not borderline spam me when I don't reply, but I feel like when I bring this up, she thinks you don't want me to text you at all. She's also tried calling me while I'm at work, and when I don't answer, she'll text my parents asking if I'm safe. There's also been instances of me having to text her to get her to let me be when I'm hanging out with a friend. Okay, I think we get the idea here. extremely clingy, extremely needy. Once again, I would say break up.
Thanks for telling me that I was muted. Thanks for saying something, y'all. Jesus H. Christ. Well, as I was just saying, this is another situation where communication is king. Sit your partner down, explain to them, hey, this is where I'm coming from. We need to come to some kind of accord. If they can't, if they're not willing to communicate, then, you know, perhaps you may need to break up. Fuck me, I'm really frazzled now. Anyway, Matt Russell's response is going to be just break up with her. What's the bet?
Bye, Felicia.
Now, granted, clingy, extremely needy. Once again, I would say break up.
Bye, Felicia.
Now, granted, you guys have been
No nuance.
dating for half a year, you'd say, which means you've barely been together at all. Okay, so you're still babies in a relationship, and she's still in the infatuation stage of things. And every couple has the infatuation stage when you're sort of obsessed with each other and you need to be around each other 24/7, which there's no love before. The infatuation gets in the way of love. There can't be real love because the infatuation stage is self-focused. You're obsessed with how this person makes you feel, so it's all about you. She's texting and calling you all the time. Not because she's actually worried about you, but more that she needs that constant connection with you for her own self. But she doesn't really care if she's intruding on you or not. So it's really not about you at all. It's more about her.
That's a little bit of projection, Matt. Another ad? That's cool. Who does this fucking boomer editing? It's so cringe. Come on, video. Keep it together.
Probably nothing beneath the infatuation except the infatuation itself. This is going to be one of those situations where you stay with her, and then in a few months, she gets bored and just breaks up with you also. She'll go from utterly obsessed with you to she doesn't want anything to do with you, just like that. Or she'll cheat or something. So I just cut this one off now. I mean,
that is... Come on, mate. You're projecting.
General rule here, if you've been dating for only 6 months, and she's already annoying the hell out of you every second of the day, not a good sign. So I would just leave that one alone. You know, just to cut in here very quickly, you know what this all...
You're kidding me. Another ad? Bruh. How long is... 2 minutes and like 15 seconds. What the fuck, man?
Before they sell out. My husband and I have been together for 13 years, married for 5. At the beginning of our relationship, he was super affectionate, holding hands, cuddling with me, the whole 9 yards. We've always gotten along great and had a really positive and fulfilling relationship in every sense of the word. Not surprisingly, after being together this long, things have changed. I've noticed in the past year or so that he's been much more physically distant. He's not affectionate at all anymore, and our sex life has dwindled to once a week and seemingly unenthusiastically on his part. When I've asked him about this, he always tells me it's just because he's getting older and isn't interested in sex anymore. About the not being affectionate thing, he says, grown men don't like being hugged and stuff. Yeah. The final straw was me getting COVID and having to sleep in separate rooms to quarantine. He said he still wants to sleep in separate rooms, telling me it's because he sleeps better. We still get along and have a lot of fun together, but I feel like at this point he treats me like a roommate instead of a wife. I don't want to leave him, but I also don't think 38 is too old to give up on a romantic relationship entirely.
Oh, okay. So this is interesting because here we have one from a woman's perspective instead of a man's. Matt Walsh, I wonder, will your perception of this relationship be any different? So, it'd be interesting if it was a man talking about this, how his wife wasn't interested in him anymore. So, interesting. Matt, I wonder if your advice will be coloured at all by the swapping around of the genders. Personally, I can't labour this point enough. Communication.
Okay, so I'm going to take the opposite approach here and say that breaking up, divorcing shouldn't even be on the table. What worries me the most in this whole thing is that you said, I don't want to leave him, but, right? Like, that shouldn't be in the discussion at all. Of course you're not going to leave him for this. That doesn't make him...
wait, what if he's not willing to change? What if he's not willing to listen? Like, if you talk to him and tell him how you feel, and explain, like, hey, this is how I feel about our relationship. This is, problems. We need to address this. And if he's unwilling to listen or change, then, I mean, it might be on the table. I'm afraid so, mate. The fuck? This is what I mean. This is like the shit I'm talking about. I think we've got enough of an idea with Matt Walsh. I don't want to stream too long because I want to get back to the 24-hour charity stream. This is the kind of shit that I talk about when I talk about the difference between men and women and how feminism works for them. This is one of the most miserable men on the planet. And look, can I just point out, like, a little bit of shade, but he has no charisma for this job, alright? He's doing the same thing I'm doing, he's reacting to stuff, but he's just... When I said earlier that he's 34, but he talks like a 60-year-old, even older, like a 70-year-old, that's not wrong. He talks like somebody twice his age. I cannot imagine living as somebody like him. Utter misery, devoid of happiness, devoid of fulfillment. If you're in an unhappy relationship, too bad. You just say, yeah, we need to make it work. Oh, unless you're a man. If you're a man, then it's okay. Then just break up with her and find somebody else. See, I wonder if those previous posts had been saying, like, oh, we've been together for 10 years, if he would have applied the same standard to the men. Actually, you know what? He probably would. Because he'd say that, no, you need to stay together. Like, marriage is sacred. You need to marry a high school sweetheart at 18 and start popping out babies. This is the thing about... This is why feminism is not just for men. There is unhealthy standards that are for men, that men are socialized, that they need to meet, that they need to live up to. Now, I'm really sad that both of the people that were talking shit in the chat earlier have left, because, I mean, hey, there's a lot to say on this topic. Let's have a look. I've got a couple of examples of kind of the stupid double standard that men are held to. And it's from one of the biggest lolcows on the internet, Steven Crowder. Men and women are very different. Mothers and fathers are very different. They are not interchangeable. My haphazard attempts at keeping boy-girl twins alive in comparison to my very adept wife makes this incredibly clear. I am effectively furniture with arms. Ha ha ha. Comedian, by the way. I soothed both twins to sleep all by myself by rocking one and whisker-rubbing, kissing the other. As fathers are largely useless through the first few months of life, this felt like a tremendous accomplishment. My wife does this 10 times a day. Now, as someone who has, a passing familiarity, more than a passing familiarity, but like baseline familiarity with humans and socialization, let me tell you that men and women are interchangeable. Mothers and fathers are interchangeable. There is nothing natural about parenting. There's nothing natural about, women are not natural mothers. Women are not naturally nurturing. Men are not naturally bad at nurturing. Now, why is Steven Crowder such a bad nurturing father, and why is his wife so good at it? Well, because it's another double standard that we apply to boys and girls. When boys and girls are raised, we raise girls to be more nurturing, more caring, more empathetic, more open to emotion, more sensitive. Like, when a girl's born, what do? You give her a doll and teach her to raise it. From a girl's earliest years, she learns nurturing. Boys don't. The reason why somebody like Steven Crowder has grown up to be so useless of a father is because as a child, he wasn't socialized into it. His wife, on the other hand, was socialized into being a mother. She was taught to be caring, taught to be nurturing. This is how boys and girls are raised, and this is another double standard that applies to men and women, boys and girls. And hey, this is the kind of double standards that feminists fight against. Yes, that's right. It's like this exact unhealthy double standard about how men aren't nurturing, or like men are naturally not nurturing people. This is why women so often win custody battles, because people have the perception that women are better carers. And this is... oh, here we go. And this is one of the things that feminism rails against. This is a double standard recognized by feminism. Because, hey, guess what? Women win as well by having men that are good carers. When you have both men and women that are just as equally adept at caring for children, everyone wins. And then the same thing for on the other side for men. If men are perceived just as much as women that they're good care providers, well then the custody battles won't be so one-sided. If you are a white man, you are wrong. Well, my friend, I'm a white man, and I'm not wrong. Sorry that you're not woke enough. Okay, Chrome is working again. Fuck woke BS. Mate, what does woke even mean? Define woke. It's a meaningless buzzword. It has no meaning. So. Sorry, I should have muted myself. PCBS. What is PC? Anti-white is woke. No one's anti-white, except maybe like Hoteps. Let's see. Now, oh yeah, to bring it back around to woke hates white males, to put it simply. My friend, I'm a white male, and I'm woke, and I don't hate myself. PC is politically correct. What does politically correct mean? Anyway, to bring it back around to Matt Walsh, Matt Walsh is unfortunately one of those figures on the conservative right who are encouraging these double standards applying to men. Matt Walsh would look at Steven Crowder's posts and think, yes, he's right on the money. Men do make bad carers. Well, my friend, as an advocate for men's rights, I'd have to say that I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I would love to see boys raised to be socialized into being more caring fathers. Everybody gets just as much gratification out of raising their children. The reason that people like Steven Crowder feel helpless, feel useless when it comes to raising children is because he wasn't taught how to raise children. You've been living under a rock. I mean, what do you mean? About what? This is exactly the kind of double standard that feminism rails against. Because what everybody loves to forget is that third wave feminism, intersectional feminism, is all about recognizing the different aspects of people's identity that intersect with each other. And hey, guess what? One of those demographics is men. Because there's no liberation without holistic liberation. And that includes men's liberation. As a feminist, I'm very interested in advocating for men's rights. I want to live in a world where people like Steven Crowder, idiots like Steven Crowder, don't fucking feel useless when it comes to children. Warzone, no, what was it? What is it? Bist string? I'm sorry, I can't. I don't want to live in a world where people like Steven Crowder feel helpless when it comes to raising children, because that is an unfair double standard that is applied to men. And the only people who are looking to solve that double standard are feminists. Because let's think about the other, like, knock-on effects. Like, I've already talked about custody. You know, like, men are not perceived as good carers, so men win custody less often. Men are also, because men are seen as, because men are not seen as carers, men, like, have the standard that they need to be the breadwinners, that, like, men don't need to spend time with their children and their family, they should be out working. Again, that's another double standard applied to men, because when people are surveyed, it shows that men do want to spend more time with their families, but at the same time they're caught between the pressure of feeling like they need to be the breadwinner. No one wants a monologue? Then what the fuck are you doing here? Fuck off. Jesus Christ. And you absolutely bet I'm a commie rat. Stay mad. Losing since the Enlightenment. That's why you just have 3 viewers. Yeah, I have like, what, 78 followers? No shit. What does that say about you, mate? Yet here you are. Anyway, let's piss Cottonmouth off even more and read an article written by one of my favorite feminists, Egyptian-American feminist Mona El-Tahawy, who is real militant in her feminism. So I'm sure that this isn't going to... I'm sure that Cottonmouth won't be triggered. You need to interact with your chat. What have I been doing this whole time? Your webcam disagrees with you. What do you mean? Anyway, let's read the article. Mona El-Tahawy, the 7 necessary sins for women and girls. Ooh. Anger is the first of the 7 sins, but anger has to be channeled, and anger has to be accompanied by the other 6 sins. Alright, let's go. By Sarah Malik. Yeah, I know, mate. And my computer is real fucking shit, okay? It's because I watched a video, that's why the webcam is lagging. No, the internet's fine. The internet, like, I have really good internet. It's the computer. The computer's fucking shit. And hey, if you want to improve that, then donate. Mona El-Tahawy is an Egyptian-born feminist and writer. She grew up in Saudi Arabia, Britain, and later went on to become a journalist for Reuters in Egypt and Jerusalem. She was arrested after protesting in the 2011 Arab Spring, and live-tweeted her sexual assault at the hands of Egyptian security forces. Her new book, The 7 Necessary Sins for Women and Girls, exhorts readers to embrace 7 sins, to be angry, ambitious, profane, violent, attention-seeking, lustful, and powerful. El-Tahawy talks to SBS Voice's deputy editor Sarah Malik on anger, protest, and why she loves the F-word. My word. Whew. Now this isn't going to piss off the conservatives. It's because you're a communist? Ah, yes. Communism is when no money. I do have a job, but unfortunately I've been in lockdown for the last 2.5 months, so I haven't worked. What's up, Bittercop? What do you do for... Well, I'm a student. I'm a full-time student, but I also work with a photo booth company. It's not great. And hey, y'all can fix that by donating. Who's the real communist here? What was the inspiration behind the 7 necessary sins for women and girls? I wanted to carve out a space for Muslim women in the iteration of the hashtag #MeToo movement in February 2018. Just 3 or 4 months earlier, by the end of 2017, white actresses spoke out against Harvey Weinstein. That was courageous. But hashtag #MeToo then became this very white, privileged elite space, and that was never its intention, because black feminist activist Tarana Burke started it in the US in 2006 for black women and girls. Well, what a surprise. White people copying something from black people? That's never happened before. My god. Cottonmouth, calm down, you're so triggered. What's my major? Sociology and Aboriginal Studies, and I'm minoring in politics. 5 days of hearing all these heartbreaking stories from women after starting the viral hashtag #MosqueMeToo, I went to the club, and this man groped me. I tugged at his shirt, and he fell, and I sat on top of him, and I punched, and I beat the fuck out of him. And then I launched a hashtag I beat my assaulter, which also went viral. That became another inspiration for the book. Effing sociology. Oh, stay mad. Stay mad. Jesus. Women are so savage for embracing the sins you mention: ambition, lust, profanity. There's a huge punishment for not knowing your place and not conforming to the good girl stereotype. How did you go from your upbringing in a conservative culture in Egypt and living in Saudi Arabia and Britain to getting into punch-ups in clubs? What was that journey like for you? I get asked that a lot, especially by young women of colour. When I launched the book in New York, and a lot of women were either Egyptian or of Muslim descent. My interlocutor, who I was in conversation with, also asked me. My response was, it took me a long time to get this. Many things brought me to this. Moving to Saudi Arabia and being traumatized into feminism in Saudi Arabia, discovering feminist books while at university in Saudi Arabia. Then I became a journalist. I wanted to be a journalist since I was 16. Journalism, for me, represented freedom. It was ironic that a male editor once advised me not to say fuck on social media. I was becoming a journalist and tapping into the injustices and forms of misogyny I specifically sought out to report on. I wanted to channel this rage at misogyny and the patriarchy out somewhere. It was all the different countries I lived in, and I recognized it in all countries. Patriarchy is paramount. It is not specific to a particular place or faith background. Patriarchy is an octopus. The head of the octopus is patriarchy, and the tentacles represent various forms of oppression patriarchy uses to keep us in place. White supremacy, capitalism, homophobia, ableism. Whew. I doubt it. You're absolutely right. I don't want a job. I don't want any of you to have a job. Embrace automation. Is that a book? It's not a... this is the book. The 7 Necessary Sins for Women and Girls. I've read some of it. Not all of it. It's a good book. You should definitely read it. This is an interview with Mona El-Tahawi, an Egyptian-American feminist. A typical lib. My friend, I am not a liberal. Jesus Christ. Cringe. Wait, you were just calling me a communist earlier. Which am I? Am I a communist or a liberal? But totally not triggered, my guys. Not triggered, not mad. Is it like realizing you are drowning and knowing there is no option but to reach for air? Yes, it's really realizing the multiple waves in which patriarchy comes at you, and thinking I am done with this fuckery and I am fighting back in any way I can. I tell young women, now the best way to work on your muscles to fight back against the octopus of patriarchy is to develop feminism in 3 Ds. Defying, disobeying, and disrupting. I encourage them to find ways to practice feminism in 3 Ds every day. Find a way you can defy, find a way you can disobey, and find a way you can disrupt. There can be tiny ways. It's like lifting weights where you go from tiny weights to heavier weights. Please stop saying cringe, y'all. Who, me or the people in the chat? Listen, we all post cringe sometime, alright? So live is to cringe. There's that fear from a lot of women in resisting patriarchy, that there will be fear, loss, rejection, and pain going down this path. But I think you show that anger can be channeled in a productive and powerful way. It can even be joyful. How joyful has this feminist past been for you in living in your fullness? There will be pain, and there will be sadness, whether you fight back or not, because that's the consequences of the patriarchy. When you don't express your anger, it gets internalized into sadness. As Audre Lorde says, your silence will not protect you. There will be pain anyway. Fight. I'm so glad you brought up joy, because when I talk about anger, I didn't end and begin with anger. Anger is the first of the 7 sins, but anger has to be channeled, and anger has to be accompanied by the other 6 sins. Joy is really important for me. I'm an anarchist, and one of my anarchist heroes is Emma Goldman. Emma said, if we don't fight for a world with more joy, then what is the point of fighting for a better world? What we fight for must be better than what we have. As angry as I am, I also go to the club, because I want to dance. My self-care is through dance, through feminism, through saying fuck, whenever the fuck I want. The older I get, the more obvious and more blatant I become in the person I am. The more you live the truth of who you are, the more you show the world who you are, the freer you are. That freedom is truly beautiful. It takes a really hard fight. It's not going to happen overnight, but it's worth every minute of the fight. You're telling the world to accept you as you are. You are saying, fuck anyone who denies me that humanity. That in itself is the most joyful form of resistance ever. Idacop, I'm afraid, I think they might have stepped out. Yeah, unfortunately, they have left the chat. I'm sorry. This poor, fragile white man could not handle hearing an angry woman. How much more has this got to go? Quite a while. Anyway, I think we get the idea. The point is that this is, what Mona's talking about is what I was just talking about earlier. I'm talking about how we socialize boys and girls. I was talking about earlier about how girls are socialized into being submissive and being demure and being receptive to male interest and male authority. How's the webcam doing? Not great, I bet. Not great. What is with this computer? Lately, it has been really fucking annoying. Anyway, fuck me. And Mona is saying that... Okay, have fun, Idacop. Basically, what Mona is saying is that women shouldn't settle for this kind of... I guess... Like she when she referenced Audrey, who was it? Audrey, I'm gonna crash the thing. Audre Lorde. Your silence will not protect you. When it comes to breaking down gender roles, when it comes to breaking down how we raise men and women, in addition to making men more receptive and more empathetic, girls need to be raised to be more self-assured, more confident. Because we don't raise girls to be that way. That's why Mona is encouraging women to be ambitious, to be profane, to be violent. These are all the things that we encourage men to be. Now, ultimately, in sometime in the very distant future, I mean, we'll have to achieve some kind of balance between the two. But right now, it needs to be kind of flipped around. And this is the thing, this is why feminism is for everyone. It's about liberating everyone. Are you a male feminist? I'm not a male feminist, I'm just a feminist. Like, can you not tell that? Okay, well, I suppose that the title of the stream is not, it doesn't give it away. So, as we've seen with people like Matt Walsh and Stephen Crowder, they exhibit ways in which men suffer with their type of masculinity. This very narrow, very structured sense of masculinity that punishes men for stepping out of it. What kind of overpriced vegan coffee do you like to consume? Is such a thing as vegan coffee? I don't know. I don't drink overpriced coffee. I drink instant coffee. And I'm not a vegan, so I like meat too much. I don't know. Do I have anything... I don't have anything else to say on the topic. Yeah. This is interesting. It's funny because all you have to do is put feminism in the title, and you get tons of people coming into the chat and just screaming about feminism. But it's women who have the problem, sure. Male feminist, but not a vegan, not bad. My friend, there's no such thing as a male feminist. It's just feminist. Do you call someone like, oh, you're a male Saints fan? No, they're just a Saints fan. If you're talking about, like, I think it's more because you're a male. Do you just assume my gender? Not very woke of you. If you want to talk about, like, a gendered role, people don't say, like, oh, a male hairdresser. They just say a hairdresser. Anyway, how are we? Alright, this damn camera is... Oh, no, the camera's actually going okay. It's a little choppy, but not, like, super bad. Do I have anything else? Let's see. I don't know. In summation, I'd like to remind everybody that the goal of feminism in 2021 is to recognize the different ways that different demographics function, exist, complement, and compete with each other, and recognizing how power comes into play. And I would like to remind everybody that one of those demographics is men. Solving men's problems helps women. Solving men's problems helps queer people. There's no separate movement for men because feminism already occupies that role. The only people who have men's interests at heart are feminists. Feminism is usually to beat down working class movements and call them toxic. I don't know what feminism you're talking about, mate, but that's no feminism I know. You're speaking to a feminist, alright? I was talking about, like, the reason I'm talking about feminism today is because I touched on it last night, and people were pushing back on it. Like, this really just speaks to the meme that most people on the internet don't have arguments, they just gesture at imagined hypocrisy. Don't talk about, there's no such thing, fourth-wave feminism is not a thing. Don't talk about nebulous feminism says this when I'm right here. Like, we're in the ring, I'm standing in one corner, leaning against the rope, and you're in the other corner, just shadowboxing somebody only you can see. Don't gesture at an imagined abstract concept. Talk to me. Don't say feminism says this. I'm the feminist. I'll decide on what we say. Address my arguments, not the imagined straw man in your head. Fuck. Can you explain the male feminism to me? There's no male feminism. There's just feminism. The girl boss cancerous drone strike done by a woman. Exactly. And the article I was just reading by Mona Al-Tahawi condemns liberal feminism or pop feminism. But that's not real feminism. Real feminism recognizes that the struggles of men need to be addressed too. Mona was just talking about how, it's about queer liberation, it's about working class liberation. It's an intersectional approach. It's a holistic approach. The issues that are addressing men, like we're just talking about with this whole Steven Crowder bit, this is an issue because men are perceived that they can't be good carers, but they're not perceived that they're not good carers because we raise boys to... we raise girls to be the ones to raise children instead of raising boys that way. The reason that Steven Crowder is useless at raising kids is because he wasn't socialized that way as a child. This is something that feminists want to push back against. Because this has other knock-on effects. This is why men lose custody battles more frequently. This is why men have the expectation that they need to be the breadwinners, that they don't get to spend time with their kids. This is what feminism is all about. It already addresses the issues that men face. Also, I've just actually taken like a real look at your name. Pooh God. Okay. Okay, why not? I do think men can raise kids, but a woman is probably going to be better. Because we raise girls that way. It's nothing to do with... There's no biological imperative that makes women raise children better. Like, I was talking about this before you came on. Like, when a girl is born, we give her a doll and we teach her to raise children. Like, we give her the blueprint for here's how to be a good mother, here's how to be nurturing, here's how to be caring, here's how to be empathetic. From birth, we raise them to be socialized into that role, but we don't do it with boys. If women were naturally good mothers, then there would be no bad mothers. They carry them for 9 months, they're naturally closer. I disagree. Men can take on this role, but a woman will always be better. No, that's wrong. That's not how socialization works, my friend. If women were naturally good mothers, then there would be no bad mothers. It's all about how we raise boys and girls. No, next topic. No, this is the topic, my friend. If you don't like it, there's the door. Or that they breast... You disagree that carry them from... No, I disagree that that women will naturally be closer. There's data out there that suggests that same-sex couples are just as capable parents as heterosexual couples. Or cisgendered couples, I guess. No, not cisgender. Yeah, heterosexual couples. Well, I suppose that trans parents would come under that. Yeah. He didn't fall for my rhetoric device. I have nothing. How can you not be closer to something you carried for 9 months and pained over for hours in labour? I'm not saying men can't be close, but I don't think the average man will ever be as close as the average natural birth mother. My friend, you're making an argument from intuition. That's not a good argument. The point is... Like, men won't be closer until we allow them to be closer. Like, think of what I was just talking about how we raise girls. When you... oh my God. Intuition is common sense, and common sense is an anti-intellectual argument. I'm sorry, but it doesn't stand up. We raise girls to be more nurturing. Like... We don't give boys dolls and teach them mothering. We give girls dolls and they learn mothering from their mother, from the other women around them. This is why you would never engage with the true working masses. My friend, I am a goddamn socialist. You're on a lefty stream. If you think that... listen, I'm not a Nazbol. We're not leaving feminism behind to appeal to the working class. It is holistic liberation. There's no liberation without working class liberation. There's no liberation without men's liberation. There's no liberation without women's liberation. There's no liberation without queer liberation, and so on. And guess what? I will drag you, kicking and screaming, to your own liberation, and you will like it. My friend, I'm not a liberal. Fucking hell. I just said I was a socialist. Not too bad. I'm not appealing to intuition because I'm an intellectual. Average people don't have time to read your infinite feminist theory bullshit. That's why I'm here. That's why other streamers are here. That's why you've got people like ContraPoints making videos about men and masculinity, alright? It takes these talking points and puts them into a digestible format. Fuck. That's why you have streamers. That's why you have lefty streamers who talk about this stuff. That's why I'm talking about it right now. Yes, I know that ContraPoints is a liberal. Fuck, but plenty of lefties talk about this as well. Liberals have incentive to divide the working masses. No, I disagree. Not even like more moderate-minded liberals. No, I disagree. I think that for the most part, despite, well, I disagree because like liberals may not be inherently anti-capitalism, but they are pro-liberation in other aspects. The problem is they just don't go far enough. Pugod, what is your politics? Please tell me you're not a tanky, because I'm getting tanky vibes. Okay, you're literally liberal, like, oh, okay, so you are a tanky, okay. Listen, mate, come back when you turn 18. No minors in chat, okay? We don't like minors in chat, alright? Hit the road. I don't know what tanky is. Bullshit, mate. You're calling people like Hassan and Vosh liberals. You are a fucking tanky. The only people that call Hassan and Hassan and Vosh tankies are liberals. Come on, don't lie. It does nothing with his cloud influence other than be the largest socialist streamer on the internet. I guess that counts for nothing then. There is 33,000 people watching Hassan right now. A communist. Okay, but I guess that counts for nothing then, huh? It counts for nothing. My friend, he's a socialist streamer. He has tens of thousands of people watching him right now. Like, he built his career on spreading socialist ideals. He's radicalized thousands of people towards lefty ideals. I'm sorry, but this is an incredible achievement. He's fucking porn stars his mansion with your sub money. Well, I've actually never subbed to Hassan. But hey, that's pretty based. While you soy face over his vote Biden speeches, what's your thoughts on him voting, like... okay, well, fucking the porn stars, based, in his mansion for, well, not my sub money, but the sub money they got from other people, that's good. Yeah, he made his money, he's a self-made man who made his money not through exploitation, so why would anybody have a problem with that? And voting for Biden, yeah. Don't let the Republicans win, alright? As bad as the Democrats are, the Republicans are worse. Did he pay his editors? Does he pay his mods? Of course he does. Like, I don't get why people are so like, Vosh makes money, and yet he has editors. Like, these people are well compensated. Even, like, smaller streamers, like Demon Mama, like, has, I think, a sub count. I don't know if she's under 10,000, but even she pays her mods. Like, these people who have people that work for them pay their mods. Oh, hello, I missed that. Pooh God, thanks for the follow. He doesn't LMAO. Really. I find that very hard to believe that Hassan, the biggest lefty streamer, with tens of thousands of followers, millionaire, doesn't pay his mods and editors. Bullshit, mate. Do you believe that certain rhetoric can pacify people? Yeah, your rhetoric. Your rhetoric turns people off from leftism. No one wants to be a lefty when people like you are gatekeeping and purity testing. You make money on Twitch. I'm jealous that you make money on Twitch. You're not a real leftist. Yeah. God. Fucking hell. You know why people like Hassan are so successful? Because they're fun. That's what makes him so successful. And that's why he's so successful at spreading lefty ideas. Because he's not out here purity testing and reading 12 hours of theory. He makes leftism fun. Deep State Andy's, oh boy. Listen, I'm sorry. Don't start JQing, alright? Because otherwise you're going to get the boot. Okay, I'm sorry, mate. You've JQ'd yourself into a ban. Sorry. Start coming here talking about elites and that the world is flat. Sorry, mate. Well, that was fun. On that note, I don't have anything else to talk about. Feminism is for men. I have to prepare more content about feminism in the future because wow, this triggers the fuck out of people and it brings people into the chat. So hey, I should have prepared way more content. Next time I'll come back and I will have a lot more stuff prepared about feminism, a lot more better arguments prepared for people that come in. So hey, if you enjoyed, come on in and drop me a follow, and I'll see you next time. I'm Louis Vuitton. Join your union.